Hello and welcome to the MAC1105C portion of the introduction. So this video should be watched after you watch the regular introduction, which I introduced the MAC1105 material. This video is specifically for MAC1105C. Here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to discuss mainly the differences. So really the main difference with MAC1105C is you have MAC1105 college algebra with co-requisites. So what that really means is you're going to have topics from MAT 1033, or better known as intermediate algebra, to help you along and prepare you to do the college algebra material. Now, it will be interspersed throughout the semester. It's not going to be set up so that you only do the co-requisite materials first and then we jump into college algebra. It's going to be worked alongside. So really what I want to show you, if you watch the other video, which if you haven't, go back, it's very important. But I want to just show you the differences in Canvas and talk about them and really just what the main differences are. Okay, so after you watch that video, you should be very familiar with what we're looking at. This is the home page. This is really where everything is. And if you scroll down, the main difference is going to be after test, the test module, and before the Unit 1 module, which is where the college algebra material is, you will see these modules 5A, 3A, 2A, and 1A. 1A being the longest, as you can see. And what this is, these are the co-requisite materials for the course. If you want to notice something, maybe you watch the other video, but really these go along with the corresponding modules. So for module 1A, that's going to correspond to be material for module 1. All right, so solving equations. Module 2A is going to be corresponding material for module 2, graphing distance midpoint circles, and so on. And what I want to do is really just show you these topics, the way they're made. They're designed to get you ready to do the corresponding material. So you won't do regular module 1 until you do module 1A. And if I open the pacing guide, go ahead and do that real quick. You'll notice it is exactly like that. So week 1, this will be your pacing guide for MAC1105C. It's a little bit different because you have more sections. Week 1, you're going to focus on module 1A. And if you can, as I wrote here, begin module 1, but it's not due week 1. 1.1 will be due the next week. I'll explain why in an announcement where that course actually starts, why I want you to strive to begin section 1.1 week 1, even though it's not required. The main thing you'll maybe notice if you remember the previous video is that for just the regular college algebra, you only saw this section filled out, everything else was blank. For 1105C, I have the co-requisite topics, what they are, and the little important note here. So I'll let you read the co-requisite topics yourself, but the important note here, this ultimately is a college algebra class. So when you take quizzes, when you take tests, when you take the final exam, you are taking the college algebra quizzes, tests, and final exam. What's different is in order to get you ready, there are extra homework assignments, specifically what belong in modules 1A, 2A, 3A, and 5A. So really what you want to think about is you have extra sections to help you get ready to take these college algebra level modules to get you ready. And maybe what's most important that I really want to point out is that modules 1 through 5, you can notice here, starts at module 1, of course, and then module 5 goes through 5.3. That's the material on test 1. So the way this really works is that all your co-requisite material and is on test 1 material. You won't be specifically asked those topics. Like I said, they're to get you ready. So when you take test 1, it will be just like if you were in just MAC 1105, but you've had these extra topics to help you get ready. The most important thing you can do, or you should do, beware, is that you really, really, really want to stay on track through test one. It's going to be quite a bit of material, but the idea here is that you're in this course and not MAT 1033 because you were really close to being ready for MAC 1105 and you just need that extra hump. So when I look at the topics here, Module 1A, entering answers, that's straightforward. That's for every college math class with lumen ohm. You just need practice entering answers, especially if you've never done it before, because it can be time consuming to try to figure out on your own. But the real topics here, you have number types, solving linear equations, factoring quadratic equations, factoring special products. These are topics that you should be somewhat familiar with if you are in this course. Do you need to know what they mean just by reading them? No, but hopefully you've factored something before. All right, if that's the case, then all four of the topics in Module 1A should be pretty quick. Module 2A, the coordinate plane, similar idea. You should have done XY graphing before if you are in this course, so that should not be too time consuming. I think probably the most important one as far as being exposed to it before might be the interval notation and evaluating algebraic expressions, Module 3A. You might not have much familiarity with this, in which case you will get familiar with it. And once again, that's really the purpose of these topics and having them is in case you haven't been exposed to all of these, you will be exposed to them. And if you have, and hopefully you have for most of them, it will go pretty quickly. Right? So hopefully that's a good synopsis of really what's different. Now, if I go back to the Canvas course here and I go to examples of what's actually in this co-rec material, it's a little bit differently structured than the regular material. There's not going to be my specific notes, my specific videos. It's going to really be based around doing the homework assignments because ultimately you should have some exposure to this. But it will be set up like the other homework assignments where I showed you in the previous video. There are videos inside the homework assignments. So you're not just completely lost, and there are textbooks. This section right here, you can see there's notes. This is really just textbook anyway, and there are other videos. But if I go to, I have to do this again. But if I go to an assignment and click start, if this just looks completely bizarre, you have no idea what this means, there's a video there for you. Once again, I want to reiterate that this stuff should be review, a lot of it, maybe not all of it, but you should have some exposure to it. If you are really struggling, especially with the first section, getting it done in the first week, then maybe you want to talk to me about what you should do going forward, because I can't reiterate enough that this section, all the co-rec material, if you're going to have success in college algebra, because the course does, of course, get harder and harder throughout the semester, you really want to make sure you're comfortable with these. So just keep that in mind. That's really the main difference. Everything else is the same. In fact, once you start test 2, I'll go back to the pacing. Once you get through test 1 and you go to test 2, you'll notice there are no more A's after any of these assignments because the last one is 5A. So as module 6, module 7, and all the way to the end of the semester, you're pretty much just in college algebra at that point. It is a little faster pace because this is a 4-credit course, not a 3-credit course. So just keep that in mind. If you have a friend in college algebra and you're in this 1105C and you feel like you're doing more work, that's because you are. There are these extra topics. Our test 1 is a week later than a normal college algebra course, which means that test 2 and 3 in the final exam, the rest we have to scrunch together a little bit. Right? But like I said, everything else is the same. You do not need to worry otherwise. If you have any questions about the differences, please let me know, but I just wanted to make this supplementary video so you understand, yes, there is more work, but you are really taking a college algebra course. These are just here to help get you ready. I guess I should reiterate though, they are actual homework assignments. If you don't do them, you will get a 0, and you don't want to get 0s on homework assignments. They are due for a grade. It's just, this is what's extra. So how many homework assignments extra do we have? This one's not extra. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 in module 1, and then 1 in module 2. So that's 5, 2 in module 3A. So that's 7. And 1 in module 5A. So ultimately you have 8 extra homework assignments in this course compared to college algebra. That's the additional topics. Outside of that, I want to reiterate again, it's exactly the same, but can't stress enough, this is a 4-credit course. So you will find yourself working a little more than you might expect in a regular 3-credit math course. Right. With that, good luck to the start of the semester, and let me know if you have any questions. Bye-bye.